He wasn't a criminal, not a psychopath, not some monster lurking in the shadows. He had a job, he had friends, he had what you and I would call a normal life. And yet, in one single moment, he made a decision that changed everything. This isn't a story about violence. This is a story about the human mind. When we talk about killers, we often imagine the same thing, don't we? Someone who is just different, cold, evil, a person fundamentally unlike the rest of us. But what if I told you that research reveals something far more disturbing? That most perpetrators began as ordinary people. No diagnosis, no criminal record, no warning signs screaming danger. So the real question isn't, who would do something like this? The real question is, how far can a person go before they break? It almost never begins with violence. It begins with pressure, crushing financial stress, relationship problems that feel like a dead end, a deep gnawing shame, a complete loss of control over one's own life. The mind is incredibly resilient. It can endure stress for a long time, but not forever. When a person no longer feels in control of their world, their mind searches for one thing, and one thing only, the restoration of that control. And that is the dangerous moment. It's right here that something subtle but crucial happens. The inner dialogue changes. The thoughts shift from "this is difficult" to "this isn't fair," from "I'm struggling" to "I don't deserve this." And then, the most dangerous thought of all, "they're forcing me into this." Psychologists call this moral rationalization. The act, whatever it may be, is no longer seen as wrong but as necessary. Not evil, but inevitable. It's a mental trick the brain plays to justify what was previously unthinkable. It's a reframing of reality. And in almost every case, there is one moment, a single trigger, a heated argument, a public humiliation, a final, tense confrontation. In that instant, the mind switches from thinking to acting. The amygdala, the brain's center for fear and emotion, hijacks the system. Logic and reason evaporate. Time seems to blur and distort. And right there, in that chaotic storm of emotion, the final moral restraint collapses. Not because the person is inherently evil, but because in their distorted perception, they no longer see a way back. Many perpetrators describe the same feeling immediately after: emptiness, a profound numbness, disbelief. It's as if they were watching a movie of their own life. This is the mind's last-ditch defense mechanism. It's called dissociation. It protects itself by creating distance. You'll hear them say things like, "I watched myself as if it was someone else," or "I felt nothing at all." This isn't because they truly feel nothing, but because feeling the full weight of what they've done would be too catastrophic, too dangerous for the psyche to handle. After that first act, everything changes. Not just legally, but psychologically. The threshold is gone. What once seemed impossible has now happened. And the mind learns a terrifying lesson. I survived this. This is why escalation often occurs. It's not necessarily born from sadism, but from a dark form of adaptation. The brain has created a new, horrific baseline. Now, this does not mean that everyone is a potential killer. That's a crucial point. But it does mean this. Under the right, or rather the wrong conditions, almost anyone can break. The difference between the person who breaks and the person who doesn't often lies not in some inherent quality of good or evil, but in their personal boundaries, their support systems, and timing. So, when we look at these terrible events, perhaps the question we should be asking isn't, how could he do this? But, what could have stopped it? Was it a missed opportunity for earlier intervention? A lack of mental health support? Was there a moment where a friend, a family member, or a professional could have pulled them back from the edge? Or was it, in some tragic way, inevitable once the dominoes started to fall? These are uncomfortable questions with no easy answers. But they force us to look past the monster and see the person who once was, reminding us that the line between ordinary and extraordinary is thinner than we like to believe. Thank you for watching. If you found this exploration valuable, please consider subscribing for more deep dives into the complexities of the human mind.